Alrighty, welcome into the Gary Ayd Show here on the Cave, cavetalkradio.com and the Cave Talk Radio app. It's great to have you aboard, Gary Ayd, Rich Anselmo, and we are live here in Middletown, New York. It's great to have you aboard. A lot to get to today. We debut our Orange County Smash scoreboard later today. 3 games were played over the weekend in the vicinity of Hershey, Pennsylvania. And the Smash had a little bit of a hard time in the first 2 games, but rebounded nicely in Game 3, including a rare individual feat, which you'll hear about in about 15 minutes. And the gentleman the young man who achieved this is one of our 2 players of the week. And that would be none other than pitcher. And we'll tell you more about it later on. Just so you know. Just a little tease there. They call that in the industry. So let's talk about the opening rant. Well, one of the things that's a common discussion in sports talk radio and in water cooler talk, which is sort of the formalized version of what sports talk radio, when done properly, is supposed to be, which is just formalized, commercialized water cooler talk. One of the things that always comes up is the fans are more passionate and care more than the players. And usually and often that's true. And part of that is because it's not their job. When it's your job, when you play 82 NBA games, 82 hockey games, 162 baseball games, it's a job. It's a year-round job now. Everyone's always training, everyone's always conditioning, everyone's always getting better, trying to stay on top, trying to not lose their job to the next guy. It's a grind. And so even if you love your job, and I think it's fair to say that most of these guys probably do, you're not gung-ho giddy running through a wall, can't contain your excitement every single day at any job, no matter how much you love it, because it is still part of your day-to-day routine. It is your job. When you are a fan, that is short for fanatic, you're detached from it, even if you're obsessed with it. So you can be all crazy about it. You don't have to get up at 5 a.m. to work out, to prepare for it. You get to enjoy or suffer through, depending how it goes, the cream. They have to farm the coffee beans, transport them, build the cup, make the coffee, and then deal with the results, whether or not it succeeds. You don't have to do all that. So, now that said, that is why fans usually are more passionate outwardly than players. This year's World Baseball Classic, at least for me, I'm experiencing the flip side of this for the first time. I could give 2 shits. I still don't care. But it's obvious the players love it. So it's interesting to me. This is just a little bit of an observation. It's fun to be on the other side of this for the first time. The players are way more interested, way more passionate, care way more about this than I do. And I find that interesting. It's not something you typically observe in the sports fan, sports player dichotomy. So it's an interesting thing.
More than you do? Yes. More than fans? No.
Well, that's why I just said,
and that's shown by the crowds.
Well, I just said me.
Right.
And I'm sure I'm not the only person. I'm sure I'm in the minority, but I'm sure there's plenty of people like me who feel this way. But there's plenty more that don't, and that's fine. The bottom line,
you are in the minority, but I know others who feel just like you.
Exactly. Right. I'm not an exclusive minority. It's not just, okay, here's the guy yelling at the clouds. Like there's at least a few of us.
Yeah, you're not having a Grandpa Simpson.
Right. I'm not that crazy yet. I got a few years before that happens, hopefully. But yeah, but it is interesting observing this. Because the players are crazed about this. I mean, and the thing is, I'm crazed about it too, in a different way. 2 of the 10 best players in baseball now, one's going to miss the whole season. The other's going to miss the first 2 months, probably. That's Altuve with the broken thumb.
And the same thing could happen in spring training.
Well, and I'm okay with that. I'm not saying injuries don't happen. I'm not okay with them happening not while you're on business for your team when you're under contract. That's my rub. Injuries are going to happen. There's no question about it.
I can imagine the backlash if you tell people, no, you can't go play for your country.
Well, that's why they don't do it. Right, exactly. It's a tricky situation. But this is the worst nightmare of 2 teams. And not only are they 2 of the best players in baseball, they are the best player or one of the best players on 2 teams that have among the best shot in all of baseball of winning the whole thing. And that's what makes it even crappier, especially for the Mets, who are going to be out there guy for the whole year, is this is a team. It's not like this is a team that you're thinking, if they're lucky, they might contend for a wild card for a little while. No, this is a team that should be a World Series contender. The Astros just won the World Series. They're a contender. And yet, here we are. So I understand the appeal of it. I understand the romance of it. The fact that they're playing for their country, it's pride, it's joy, it's all this. I understand that. And I understand why a ton of fans love it, because that is the love language of a lot of sports fans. Passion and country and patriotism and playing for the love of the game. That's the key one right there for a lot of fans.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not. I'm just not wired that way. I only care about pro sports for one reason, and that is I am endlessly amazed at their physical prowess. It captivates me like almost nothing else. Like, I always use Dirk Nowitzki as a crazy example. Have you ever been? I've had the experience of being around a real life 7-footer. Guy was clunky and slow and uncoordinated. The fact that guys like Nowitzki exist defies human physics to me. And I never tire of observing it. It's crazy to me. What guys like Embiid and Giannis can do, and what guys like in baseball, like what Randy Johnson was able to do, it's stupendous to me. It blows my mind. And I don't care if they're mercenaries and just want every dollar, or if they don't even like the sport, but they're great at it, or if they're going to run through a wall because that's all they know. They're Pete Rose. It makes no difference to me. I'm mesmerized by their talent. And that's why I watch. That's why I don't really, as much as I say I'm a Met fan, I'm a Laker fan, I'm really a players fan. I'm really a players guy. I'm just individually captivated to varying degrees with the talents of various players in each sport that I follow. And that's my way of consuming sports. It's not right or wrong. That's just how I am.
I am as well. But I still consume sports differently than you.
Yes, that's fine.
I do watch sports from all over the world. I'm not thinking it's US or nothing.
Right.
Because I've seen great talent in many sports all over the world.
Understood.
And I do it for the sport. I appreciate the sport.
Sure. Makes sense.
I'll watch European basketball. I'll watch it all day because it's a beautiful game. I'll watch Russian hockey for the same reason. It's a great game. They play a great game. But I don't know. I just think there's something different with playing for your country, which is why most people want to do it.
Right. Right. And maybe I would.
And in a country that's so, I'm sorry.
Maybe I would feel better about this if they did this earlier in the game. Like, we're a week away from the opening day, more or less, 10 days. Why not do this instead of doing this in March? Why not do this in February? It's not like you're playing in New York anyway, where it's snowing.
Right.
Why not?
That's a good point. That's a good point. There's no reason why they shouldn't.
Right.
You can do it before spring training. You could end it by the time pitchers and catchers report.
Right. Right.
Now, likely all your games will be in Arizona and Florida, which is the same thing as spring training. but it can be done.
That's right. All right. Well, you know what? We got to take a quick break. But before we do, we got the question of the day coming up next. But before that, it is the Orange County Smash. We have partnered with them, and it is time for our first ever game action update. So the Smash 10U team, coached by Rich Monda, played 3 games in Pennsylvania this past weekend, going 1-2 overall. The weekend was highlighted by the brilliant no-hit pitching performance by Mason Cross in the third and final game. His brilliant pitching performance and a resurgent Smash lineup featured a balanced attack headlined by an explosive 12-run third inning. These teams play 4 innings, by the way. 3 players produced 2 RBIs for the Smash in this game. Oliver Mastroserio had 2 RBI and 2 runs scored while also walking twice, while Ryan Tompkins tallied 2 RBI, Brady Grote just the same. Meanwhile, Michael Febby scored 3 runs for the Smash. Cross and Tompkins earned Player of the Week honors this week. You'll hear from both of them in full-length interviews tomorrow. Tompkins in 3 games and 6 at-bats tallied 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 RBIs in the walk, as well as an inning of relief pitching in Game 1. Meanwhile, Cross, we mentioned, had the no-hitter in Game 3 and came within 1 unearned run of a perfect game. Full featured interviews, as we mentioned, with both players will air tomorrow at 10:30 here on the Gary Ayd Show. Please download the Cave Talk Radio app or follow us on Facebook, Cave Talk Radio NY, to hear from this week's Players of the Week. And that'll do it for our OC Smash game action update. The radio question of the day is next. We'll see you on the other side. It's the Gary Ayd Show here on the Cave.
Coffee lovers, Middletown is now officially home to the home run of our favorite beverage, Days Coffee. Days' patented blend contains approximately 85% less caffeine than other coffees, which makes it better for you, yet unlike decaf coffee, still gives you that great pickup and tastes amazing. Formulated by a retired cancer pathologist, Dr. Grant Lee, Days Coffee is fermented with a patented enzyme that until now required a complex and thus expensive sourcing and production process. With Dr. Lee's formulation, this enzyme's great health benefits can now be brought to your cup quicker, easier, and cheaper than ever before. Here's how you get a hold of this game-changing cup of joe. Go over to radioonlydeals.com and get a $4 gift certificate to Days Coffee for just $2. That's radioonlydeals.com to buy your single-use digital gift certificate for Days Coffee. Radioonlydeals.com. That's radioonlydeals.com. Enjoy the preferred coffee of the Gary Ayd Show. Enjoy Days Coffee.
Mid-Vermont Christian School forfeited a game and subsequently lost the right to participate in all state-sanctioned tournaments. I am KO, back in 1 minute with your sports question of the day.
If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, you may qualify for a free continuous glucose monitor system. Managing your diabetes is crucial to your health. The new CGM systems can automatically manage your diabetes better for you. And by using a CGM system, you can eliminate forever one thing most people with diabetes hate the most: finger sticks. Now it's possible to manage your diabetes better, end the painful finger sticks, and get a new CGM monitoring system at little or no cost to you. We even provide in-home delivery and do all the insurance paperwork for you. Now is the best time to manage your diabetes better and get your continuous glucose monitor. Call now for details. Call 800-438-1391, 800-438-1391, 800-438-1391. That's 800-438-1391. Paid for by U.S. Med.
Mid-Vermont Christian School has been banned from participating in any state-sanctioned tournaments after the girls' basketball team forfeited a game because the opposing team had a transgender player. The Vermont Principals Association said the ban was the result of Vermont Christian's violation of association policy, adding that the ruling applies to all of Vermont Christian's sports teams. Question: do you think it is fair or unfair to ban all of Vermont Christian sports teams from state-sanctioned tournaments?
I mean, this is the problem with associations. It's one of the reasons I don't do condos. It's one of the reasons I probably will not, as much as I would enjoy it, where my mom lives, a 55 NOLA community, a lot of planned activities, really cool stuff, a lot of amenities. I probably won't do that when I hit that age. And the reason is when you are a member of an association, you give up your sovereignty. It's the same reason I'm not really a big fan of the UN or NATO or any of these organizations, these globalist organizations. I am a fan of sovereign states, and I am a fan of individual sovereignty on the micro level in terms of if I want to paint my windowsills like magenta purple, okay, smack me, but I should be able to do it, right? It's my house, you know. But and if I'm a Christian school, particularly if I'm a Christian school, it is well within the rights of them to exercise their faith on an issue like this. And I want to be able to do that freely and clearly. This is why I wouldn't want to be part of an association. Now, it's complicated because obviously athletics, interscholastic athletics, more or less require associations like this, and the politicalization of this particular issue make these type of things, as we see from these questions, a almost daily occurrence at this point. But this is why it's just taking a different angle on it. This is why I'm not a fan of associations in general, because you give up a lot of your authority. It's why I don't like unions. Like, I'll do a good job. I don't need you to back me. I'll back myself. Like, I'll get my wages because I'm good, because I'm tenacious, because I'll hustle, and because I won't take no for an answer. Like, I don't need you. I don't need to pay you. I don't need you telling me what kind of equipment I have to wear. Like, I don't want you. So I'm not a fan of associations, and this is a perfect example of why not.
I get it. I get it completely. It is their right.
Right.
If it's just the school doing it, I understand. If it's the school and the players, I understand even more.
Mhm.
And I'm 1,000% behind them.
Well, a lot of players don't like this stuff because a lot of them feel it's an unfair advantage, and it is. It absolutely is.
Of course it is.
You know,
And then you make every team in the program suffer. Why?
Right.
Why? What purpose does that serve except fulfilling your agenda?
Right. Yep. No, it's true. Now, one other thing I'll say about this. I think this association has to be really careful. Last time I looked, Christian schools are almost always private, and they usually have zeros, multiple zeros behind their annual price tag.
Yes.
The people that, and it's not all rich millionaires and billionaires who can write $30,000 checks like it's peanuts. A lot of people sacrifice majorly to send their kids to these schools because they feel that strongly about it. Majorly.
I did.
Yes.
I did.
You are playing with fire, and the guy holding the flame is spraying gas on it from a hose at the same time. You are crazy to do this. The whole reason people are sending their kids here, in so many cases, I would venture to say 85% or more of your people that send kids to these schools are detesting these type of things.
Yes. Oh,
You are
absolutely.
a maniac. This would be like being a Texas barbecue place and getting rid of all your meat. Nope. That's why people are there.
First, it wouldn't be open long.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. I'm telling you, this will have
There's
backlash.
only so many baked beans you can eat. Man.
That's,
I mean,
that's
come on.
right. Like, I didn't come here for beans and potato salad, guys. You know, I like
I did, but they're complementary
Yes,
to the meat.
right. I like the yams. I like the mac and cheese. It's all good. But
Oh, yeah, but I
we're-
want most of my plate filled with burnt ends. I'm
right.
sorry.
That's
It's just
right.
the way it
Yeah,
is.
give me my brisket. Give me my ribs. Absolutely. No, that's my other takeaway from this. You are playing with fire if you're this association. It's insanity. Because the people that are paying your members' tuition are interested in having their kids educated in a certain way. They have a certain standard at home, a certain belief structure at home that they want to and are willing to pay extravagantly for the right to most closely mimic that standard, that culture in the classroom for their kids. And
Yes.
if you're going to play with that, you are asking for trouble because you are not publicly funded. You're privately funded in most cases.
I want to know why. I mean, I don't know anything about this area in Vermont.
No.
Are they the only Christian school in that area? Because if there are, say, 6,
Well, the
why not
question
get together all 6?
well, the question said all Christian schools. I believe the organization that made this decree is a interscholastic athletic organization comprised of Christian school members.
See, I would take all the Christian schools out of that and get together and play each other on your own.
Well, yeah, right. Like go like what we've talked about in the Power 5 conferences for years. Like, why keep the NCAA? Just do your own thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Schedule your own games.
Yep, I agree.
Your coaches can do it.
Yep, I agree. That would be my response. I would first write a letter if I was each member school.
Oh, I'd have my lawyer write.
Well, yeah, I'm not mean like you're gonna have the English teacher do it. I mean, just like yeah, get a nasty letter together signed by everybody.
The English teacher would be way too loquacious. You can't have that.
Thou shalt not. It's like, all right, come on, Shakespeare, let's go away. That's right. Oh, I hated that stuff in school. Oh, Shakespeare, that was the worst. I'm just not that depressed.
That's when you put the things on your glasses that look like eyeballs and you close your eyes.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Oh my gosh. Not that you ever did that or anything.
Oh no. I actually grew an appreciation for it.
Well, you had the angry nuns cracking the whip back in your day. So
yes. I actually grew an appreciation for it by doing like Shakespeare in the Park and stuff.
Oh.
Once, twice a year, it's fine.
Oh, good for you. Every time I heard that stuff or tried to read that stuff, I was like, oh my goodness. All I could think of is like a British accent. It's like, oh man. One thing we read.
Well, you don't have to read it when you watch people do it. So that's an advantage.
That's true. And then I just start singing Figaro. That's what happens when I watch it.
Oh, jeez. No, I haven't heard any singing in Shakespeare.
You ever get that book in school? It was called The Birds. Or The Most Dangerous Game? You ever read either one of those? They're short stories.
No.
These things now, why they showed this to us when we were like 13, I don't really know. So I'll give you the synopsis. The Birds was basically all the birds in the world go crazy and start becoming like kamikazes.
Oh, wow.
Now that's scary. And then there's a movie about it that they also showed us where they were slamming into windshields. They were slamming through people's windows. It was insane. So whenever I see like a big flock of birds to this day, 20 years later or so, I just keeping an eye out. Like, are they going to go nuts? Are they organizing?
You think about it. Oh yeah.
I absolutely do.
What's going on?
Yeah, I absolutely do. And the other one, The Most Dangerous Game, was even more sinister. Literally, it was, and I don't know when it was set. It was set in the age of sail ships. So somewhere in like the 17th or 16th century or earlier, maybe the 18th century at the latest. Anyway, this guy crash lands on some like explorer, like John Smith, like explorer type, crash lands on some like island. And turns out the lone human inhabitant of this island has been there for some time, is a trained hunter, is bored of hunting all of the stuff on the island, the animals. So he starts hunting. They come up with a plan for him to hunt the person that just crashed. And again, so we're talking about people hunting people, and you're having like 9th graders read this stuff. And then you wonder why we're all screwed up.
People hunting people.
It's like, oh, this is wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah, there's your public
I know they
school.
used to give us books we had to read, and me being naive and having a sense of humor in a school with nuns, they gave us Lord of the Flies.
Oh, I read that one too.
Not realizing you had to turn these books back in at the end of the year, where he was kneeling on on the cover. I, I drew a fly swatter in his hand. Oh, did I get in trouble for that?
And this was a Catholic school.
Yes.
Oh, that makes it even better. That's
They
great.
bring out this big wooden thing. It says Board of Education.
Oh no! Wow.
And I got educated multiple times. Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, there you go. That is your public school dollars at work. At least for me. Lord of the Flies, most dangerous game, and the Birds with ninth graders. Yeah, good job.
See, me
guys.
being a little older than you, we got all those films, like Blood Flows Red on the Highway. And
oh yeah, we got to watch some of this stuff. I mean, they made us watch The Breakfast Club, which that was kind of interesting. That was like a sociology thing. At least we were like seniors by then. So, but
yeah,
but like, oh my goodness. And this is why people pay for Catholic school educations, everyone, and let them continue to do it. Oh my goodness. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We got the I think Rich and I need to catch our breath. We got the
I thought it was my book.
What do we got left? We got the NBA. We got some baseball to do. A lot to get to. Back after this, the Gary Ayd Show here on the Cave.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. 800-370-2460. That's 800-370-2460.
Come on, you watch the news. Be prepared to pay more taxes. Then if you owe back taxes or haven't filed in a few years, get ready. The IRS, the largest collection agency in the world, will be coming after you with the power to collect taxes by any means they want to. Hey, they can freeze your bank account, your passport, even padlock your business. Oh, good times. Look, if the IRS claims you owe them $5,000 or more in back taxes and they're coming after you, don't panic. Call my friends at Get a Tax Lawyer first. Their job is to negotiate with the IRS and save you money. They're experts at it. That's all they do, and you can trust them. In some cases, they have reduced a $50,000 tax bill to less than $1,000. If you owe the IRS $5,000 or more in back taxes, call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. 800-649-8617. That's 800-649-8617.
All right. So the Knicks playing pretty good basketball lately, Rich.
They are.
They
nice to see.
Yep, absolutely. They got a big win the other night. Randall, Barrett, and Brunson all played. They combined for 65 points. And like I've said, they're going to go through their bumps and bruises. They're not a perfect team, but this is a good basketball team. This is not a team that's just going to fade away. They're not just going to go away. This is a solid team. They really are.
And I was very impressed the way they looked against Denver.
Yes, they played great. They really did. How concerned are you if you're Denver right now?
I'm not. They bounced back with a win last night over Brooklyn. I'm concerned if it continues. A bump in the road now doesn't bother me. If that bump still hasn't been fixed by April, I'm concerned.
Yeah.
You want to be hot going in. We have a month to go before we're going in.
Yep. Oh,
So I'm not going to worry yet, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, no, it's concerning. We got a couple of things in the comments here. Let's talk to Gia, who listens to the show regularly. from Coffee Barn. She says the birds. I have a friend who is terrified of birds to this day because of that book and movie. Absolutely, I'm telling you, I'm not terrified of them, but I think about it every time I see like a big flock of them. I absolutely do. In fact, one other story about that. While we're on the topic, where I grew up in Goshen, on our property, we had a nice front yard, very flat. Probably about between the front yard and the backyard, probably about somewhere between a half and 6/10 of an acre or so. And for whatever reason, a couple times a year, that our lawn in particular, but the back lawn too, was like the staging area for like a massive flock of whatever they were, crows or whatever, to go wherever they were going. And every year that that would happen, I would always like make sure I wasn't near the windows. I'd like be in my room. I'd put my shutters down. I like, cause this was when this first started happening was right around the time I first read that book. So it was like fresh in my mind. And then when I saw the movie, it would put it over the top. I read the book and saw the movie like a year apart. Like one was freshman year, one was like sophomore year or whatever. Or maybe it was even a semester apart. Maybe it was the same year, but not like back to back. Whatever the case, it was just it was traumatic. There's no question about it. And as far as Dylan that you just replied to there, Rich, yeah, that I mean, I didn't see that quote, but that's really interesting. And you know, it is, and there would be a tough top five. I'd have to really do some research on that, but it's a real question. I mean, Brunson has certainly made an impact, but I contend this, and I've said this from the beginning. Brunson does not make the impact he's made if you don't pair him with Julius Randle. Those two are the closest thing I've seen to Stockton and Malone since those guys in terms of just playing off each other and accentuating each other's natural abilities. They need
Agreed.
each other.
And you got 15 minutes, 20 minutes with the break to think about it. That's your top five.
Oh, jeez. I knew it would be. That's why damn it. You're killing me. I knew it.
Hey, you can. I've got faith in you.
Oh, man. Oh, that's funny. But so a couple other games to look at from over the weekend. A lot of really cool games. The Knicks, though, let's put it this way. Which team, the Knicks are going to be what? Probably like a 5 seed, a 6 seed. Which team?
I'd say 5.
Which team do you
comfortably
think?
5?
Comfortably 5. I agree. So which team do you think they are the most beneficial to play in the first round? Who do you think that they match up with the best? That's what I'm trying to ask.
I'd say Indiana, but they're not going to play them first.
Yeah, right.
The 4 seed, who they'll play, Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
It's Garland does not have a lot of playoff experience.
Yep.
Mitchell and Allen do. Mobley's only got the 1 year in. I think the Knicks match up with them fairly well. And I think it'll be an interesting series.
I completely agree.
If you fall, say, to third, you're playing Milwaukee or Philly, or to sixth, you're playing third, which will be Milwaukee or Philly. You don't want to play either one in the first round. You want to get those playoff legs under you.
Right. You want to have a chance at the first round series. You know, one of the guys that also does a show on our national affiliate, Sports Byline, you and I both know him, Andy Dorff. He's a bit of a oddity, but anyway, he I tried to be nice. He made a post over the weekend that basically was talking about how good Philly was and how good the Bucks were and everything else. He's a big Bucks fan. He's from Milwaukee. And I commented,
a huge Bucks
fan. And I commented, I said, this is the best Eastern Conference I've seen in decades. I said, this conference is loaded. Like, honestly, put it this way, in the West, if Cleveland or New York were in the West, they would be among the favorites to represent the conference.
Yes.
Now we're talking about, can they maybe win a first round matchup by playing each other? Because the 3 best teams, I think, in the whole NBA happen to be ahead of them in the Eastern Conference: Milwaukee, Boston, and Philly in some order.
Right. And that's why I think the 4-5 series will be the best series.
Yep. Agreed.
Whoever 6, 7, and 8 are, are going to get annihilated in the first round. No, Miami's not pulling the upset. No one's pulling the upset.
Right.
I just don't see it.
It's not happening. Not against those three teams. They're too good.
If Philly's in second and the seventh place is Miami, I would be concerned coaching wise, but not with the team.
See, I'll tell you what.
It's the only thing that scares me about Philly.
Right. Right. No, I understand. See, this is what I'm going to say about the Eastern Conference. Whichever one of those three teams, Milwaukee, Boston, or Philly, manages not to play one of the other two until the conference finals, I think has a huge advantage.
Right.
Because one of them's going to play, two of them are going to play each other before the conference finals in all likelihood.
Might be Milwaukee, Philly, which will be an epic matchup.
That's a shame that might end up being like a second round matchup.
Oh, I know. Because it would be a great conference finals matchup.
Right, exactly. That's absolutely correct. Yeah, so anyway, what do we got as far as Brooklyn? I want to talk about them real quick. This is a team that I've been impressed with since the trade. They've competed. They've looked like, in short, they look like they hit the reset button to about 5 years ago. They look like the team that was being built by Kenny Atkinson and company 5 years ago, but a little bit better. They have more talent now than they did then. Bridges has been a revelation with what he's capable of on a night-to-night basis. You knew he had ability, but at least speaking for myself, I'm loving watching him get a chance to spread his wings and show what he's capable of. I mean, this is a guy who on most nights is their number one option, at worst number two behind Dinwiddie. I mean, this guy is one of their go-to guys, and he's responded. What's he averaging? About 25 points a game since he came to Brooklyn? He's been amazing. He's had a bunch of 30-point games. And you don't have to worry about load management with him.
Right. They're an interesting team. Do they win a series against the top three? No.
Probably not, no.
And their only thing is to pass 5. Is to somehow get past the Knicks, and I don't think they do it. The way the Knicks are playing.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. Any other games over the weekend caught your attention, Rich, in the NBA?
Wasn't much of a game, Sacramento and Washington, but man, they just throw up 130 like it's nothing.
Sacramento is something. Do yourself a favor, for if you're listening right now. I understand that Rich and I can be a little bit big on the NBA, more so than maybe some of our audiences. But do yourself a favor. If you haven't had a chance to see the Kings play this year, watch this team.
Take the time. Yes.
If you're a fan of older basketball, if you go back to the 80s or so, or even further back, this is going to remind you of like the Alex English Nuggets. It's going to remind you of like the 1970s, just in general, maybe the Phoenix Suns of the 70s. It's going to remind you of like Run TMC, maybe a little bit in the 90s with a different attitude. This team is as good an offensive team as there's been in the NBA in a really long time. I know points are cheap right now. I know scoring is up all over the place, but these guys are averaging 120 and doing it efficiently. They're crazy.
They're averaging 120 at about 50% shooting.
It's insane.
It is.
This is just fun. This is just fun basketball is all there is to it. And
reminds me of 70s and 80s basketball.
Yeah, right. And here's the question.
Without all the coke.
Yeah, without the blow, right. Here's the question. Oh, we just asked this the other way around. Let's reverse it. If the Kings were in the East, where would you have them in the pecking order?
4th.
Right. Now that they're in
better
the West,
off in the West where they're 3rd.
Or are they the best team in the West right now?
No.
Okay.
In the playoffs, you're going to have to play a little more defense.
Understood. There you go. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the hour with a little hockey, and we'll give you a little update on what's going on in the NBA this evening. And then in hour number 2, we'll have our top 5. We'll have, of course, news you can use, our final baseball preview, and we will have another OC Smash update in case you missed it at 10:20. We will have it again at 11:20. The OC Smash 10U team played 3 games over the weekend in the Hershey, Pennsylvania vicinity. We'll give you all the scores and updates from that as well. Let's what's on tap the rest of the way. Right now, break, come back. We'll talk a little hockey, a little NBA, and then we'll get you to the top 5 in hour 2. It's the Gary Ayd Show back after this here on The Cave.
Are you like me? You have health insurance, but you don't have dental insurance. Do you need to get to the dentist right away? Maybe you need an implant or some other major service. Well, I found a dental insurance plan that's just right for you. It's called Spirit Dental. Spirit Dental offers a $100 lifetime deductible, a huge network of dentists. And here's the best part. There's no waiting periods. Yeah, that means you can call right now and have real dental insurance for you and your family tomorrow and get that immediate coverage you want. Spirit Dental has plans for just a few dollars a day, up to $5,000 annual maximum, and coverage for implants. Whatever age you are, the dental insurance you need is a free phone call away. Now don't wait, and be sure to ask about Spirit's vision plan. Here's the number: 800-631-9229. 800-631-9229. That's 800-631-9229.
Hey friend, life happens and you need money. What do? You call the special toll-free number we're about to give you. We will send you a link to your phone with details on how you can loan up to $5,000. Couldn't you use $5,000 to pay for your rent, pay grocery bills, get your car repaired, or whatever you need? It's up to you. We don't care. We're just here to lend you the money. And we'll lend people money with good, bad, or no credit at all. Of course, some terms and conditions apply, and you'll see those on the link we're going to send you. So if you need up to $5,000 maybe as soon as the next business day, call this number right now. We will text you a free link with details.
Paid for by Money Mutual. Call 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. That's 800-586-7112.
All right, Rich, what do we got in the NHL over the weekend and coming up today?
We had a few really interesting games yesterday. Let's start with the Rangers because they just whomped, stomped, used, abused, and hurt the feelings of the Nashville Predators. They scored 6 goals in the first period and put it on cruise control. Artemi Panarin, the bread man, had a great game with a goal and 2 assists. 11 Rangers overall, registered a point. Just a kill. The Devils took on Tampa Bay. The Devils have been in a bit of a slump. Seeing the Lightning kind of woke them up. Jesper Bratt had a hat trick, or a brat trick, as I might say, and they won 5-2. Jeremy Swayman came into Buffalo, saw, and conquered. The Sabres were no match for the Bruins, 7-0. And my biggest beef of the game wasn't the score. The Bruins are the best team in hockey, and when they're hitting on all cylinders like that, they don't lose often. My issue was someone took a run at one of the Sabres' 2 best players when it was 4-0. And the guy that responded, Dylan Cousins, and got into a serious fight, they were throwing, is the guy I don't want spending 5 to 10 minutes in the penalty box because he's one of your best scorers. The guy they just traded a second-round draft pick for at the trade deadline, Jordan Greenway, who's 6'6", 235, by the way, and it's his job, was a no-show. Oh, I get it. You're new to the team, but how much practice time do you need to defend a teammate, especially when that's the role you were brought in to fill? No excuse for it.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's the goons that don't need a lot of practice because it doesn't take a lot of practice to be a goon. You're a goon.
This is what you do.
Right.
And they're benching people to keep this guy in the lineup. Why? If you're not performing, You shouldn't be in the lineup just because they're trying to work you in. NCAA hockey tournament was announced. A couple of teams in the area here. Quinnipiac is a number 1 seed. I think they have a good chance to go far. And locally here, Canisius made the tournament by upsetting Holy Cross. In fact, shutting them out in the championship game.
There you go.
That's all I got.
All right. We even went to college hockey. My goodness. Unbelievable. All right, let's see.
You know, I regret not going to that Canisius game Saturday night because the place was packed.
Mm.
And I would have just liked the atmosphere. Far better than the atmosphere I got with the NHL team yesterday, which was pathetic at best.
You know, one thing that's interesting, over the weekend, I had a lot of work to do. A lot of work. So I had to recharge with some really good coffee. So I went over to my friends at Days Coffee. They are absolutely a home run for Middletown coffee lovers. They're right on North Street. They have a patented blend of caffeine that gives you a nice charge without all the extra caffeine. It's up to 85% less caffeine than most coffees, as a matter of fact. And with this special formulation, which is patented by their founder, Dr. Grant Lee, you get great health benefits. It's easy on your stomach. I can sometimes get an upset stomach if I have too much caffeine. It does bother me sometimes. Starbucks in particular gives me a hard time with this at times. This really is great for like a second cup of the day for me. I usually go here in the afternoon. I get a little bit of a pick-me-up. It tastes great. It's easy on my stomach, and it's a convenient location, again, right on North Street here in Middletown. And we got a great deal on it for you at radioonlydeals.com, our sister website. Get a $4 gift certificate to Days Coffee for just $2. That's radioonlydeals.com. And if you get this certificate, just so you know, it's a single-use digital certificate. It's emailed to you immediately upon purchase automatically. When you open it up, there's a little link. You click that, and it pops open the certificate. You use it by hitting the redeem button. Don't do that until you're in front of the cashier, as they're single use. Once you hit it, it can never be used again. Again, that's a $4 gift certificate for just $2 to Days Coffee. RadioOnlyDeals.com is the website. We got a loaded second hour coming up ahead of us. We got more NBA. We got the top 5 news you can use. Our baseball previews conclude today with Houston and the LA Dodgers. And of course, we have a scoreboard update for you from the OC Smash in the Hershey, Pennsylvania area over the weekend. So that's what's on tap the second hour. A lot to get to. We'll be back after this. Rich wants to say something.
I got a quick question. Buying that, you use it one time, but if you haven't been there, isn't that pretty much a free cup of coffee for you?
It really is. That's exactly
just to
what
try it. You're getting a cup.
Yeah, basically, you're getting a cup for $2. You bought the certificate for $2. So it's like a $2 cup of coffee,
right?
Which the coffee, when you go there, you probably won't pay much, because the iced coffee that I get is like $4.05 or something, or $4.95. So you could pay like $1 or less, and depending what you get, you might pay nothing. If you get like a hot cup of coffee or something, it's less. I like the iced Americano.
Oh, okay. Now, do you have a problem drinking it black?
I don't drink it black. I usually will put some almond milk and some stevia or Splenda. Use Splenda there. I'll usually use Splenda. They don't have stevia. If they did, I would probably use that. But I use Splenda and almond milk. I don't drink it black. No.
Okay.
Iced
coffee.
I
was just wondering, less bitter. It's probably got to be easier to drink.
Oh, it is. You can drink it black. I just really like it with the little flavor of almond in it. It gives it a nice little flavor to me. And I use the Splenda to give it just a little sweetness. But you can drink it black. The hot coffee I have drank black with just one Splenda packet in.
Okay.
Generally, the way I consume coffee, regardless of what it is, if I'm drinking iced coffee, I usually use like some kind of creamer and some stevia or Splenda. And if I'm drinking hot coffee, I generally drink that black with like a packet or two, depending on the size of the cup, of the same sweetener. So that's usually my approach. But the coffee is very smooth. The Americano is really good. That's actually what I get there, because Americano espresso is usually what tears up my stomach. And because of the lower caffeine content, that's the one I can drink without that happening.
Nice.
So that's why I get it there for. Yep.
Nice.
It's good stuff.
Cool. Thank you.
Yes. All right. And by the way, you can, I believe, order for shipment there too on their website. Just an FYI for those
I'm
that
down.
might not live in the area and want to give it a try. They sell whole coffee beans there as well. I've bought them. They actually have a partnership with the Epic Times, and they have a blend branded the Epic Blend, which is pretty cool. So a lot of cool stuff there. All right, let's take our break. We'll come back. Hour 2 is around the corner. The Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave. All righty, hour 2 here on the Gary Ayd Show, here on the Cave, cavetalkradio.com, and the Cave Talk Radio app. We appreciate you joining us. Gary Ayd, Rich Anselmo, hour 2, as we mentioned. And it's time for the top 5 leading off the hour. And we know what it is. I did my thinking. I put my thinking cap on. Top 5 most impactful NBA free agents of all time. Now, there might be a couple, Rich, that were actually trades. So if I get one like that, correct me. But this isn't a long list. The one thing that's interesting about this list is, despite its popularity, NBA free agency hasn't exactly been a tried and true path to grabbing star players and having great success. It's not as long a list as you'd expect. A lot of the bigger deals that we think of that made real impacts were trades. Wilt Chamberlain comes to mind from back in the day. Anthony Davis, they did win that one championship as a result of acquiring him. Kevin Durant, he was a free agent, but I question its impact. They won before and after him, so I don't know how.
Yeah, but there was still success.
They had success, but my point is they would have had that success without him. So
you don't know that.
Well,
they came off a loss to Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, look, they might have, they might not have, but they were winning before and after him, so he won't make my list. That's one notable one that will make others that won't make mine. I don't.
And Chamberlain with the trade.
That was a trade.
Well, there was no free agency, so
right.
Players just didn't jump back and forth.
Right,
then.
right. So it's not a really long list. So here's a few that came to my mind. The biggest one, without a doubt, in my opinion, was Shaq signing with the Lakers. That was a free agent deal. He signed from Orlando to LA and ushered in a period of sustained dominance, of course, along with Kobe Bryant. They signed Shaq in 96. They began their run of 3 straight titles and 4 straight finals appearances in 1999. So actually, no, it was 4 finals appearances in 5 years. Excuse me. They lost in the conference finals in 2003 to the Spurs. So that is number 1. Number 2 for me is LeBron James signing with Miami. That was, in more ways than one, epic. Obviously it turned Miami into a perennial title contender for those years. They won a couple of titles. The circumstance and the theater around it was significant. The fallout for LeBron, in terms of a lot of people didn't like that for some reason, was also significant. So there was a lot that came from that. It's a close second for me. Then LeBron signing again with Cleveland, returning to Cleveland. I'm not going to put LeBron on the Lakers. I could do that a third time, but I'm going to contain this to 2 LeBron sightings, because the fact that he came back to Cleveland and delivered his promise is the signature achievement of his career.
Yes.
So it has to be on the list.
That title out of his 4 still to this day holds the most weight.
Of course it does. It has to. Yep. So that's I might move those around. I might move that to number 2. But either way, those are my top 3. I don't know about Garnett to Boston. I guess it's up there, but that was a trade too, wasn't it? Didn't they trade with Minnesota to bring in Garnett?
Yes.
He wasn't a free agent. So Garnett's quote about himself was wrong. I don't even remember what his own career was about. Like, am I wrong? That was a trade, wasn't it? Because I remember at the time, I think I remember this, that everyone was complaining about how Kevin McHale was doing a favor for his old Celtics by trading Garnett there. Because
it was.
McHale was the general manager, the president of basketball ops in Minnesota at the time.
Right. And they gave up like Al Jefferson, Gomes,
Yes.
Telfair,
Yes,
Green,
yes. Yeah,
Ratliff.
it was a trade. Yeah, it was. Okay. So that doesn't even qualify.
Right.
You know, people are getting, I think they're
Now,
putting,
he may have orchestrated that trade, and I'm sure he did.
yeah,
It was the trade.
he at least approved it, right? But there's a million of those, right? Any star player that's been traded in the last 15 years, at a minimum, approved the trade before it happened, and at the most, kind of orchestrated it, like you said. Now, was Harden was a free agent that signed in Houston, right? When he first went to Houston, he signed as a free agent, didn't he?
Oh, let me look.
Him and Jason Kidd going to New Jersey. Kidd was a trade. That was they basically traded Marbury for Kidd, more or less. That was a swap, as I recall. But I think Harden, I'm pretty sure James Harden was a free agent signing. I'm pretty sure. And if that's the case, that's going to be my number 4, because even though they didn't win titles there, and even though I'm no fan of his, he made Houston relevant for a prolonged period of time in between 2 prolonged periods of irrelevancy, pre-Harden and now post-Harden. They've been basically irrelevant. They had a short little window with McGrady and Yao where they were relevant for like a couple of years, but they've not been really relevant in a very long time, other than the years Harden was there. So I got to give him credit where credit is due. And I'm almost positive that was a free agent signing. I don't believe it was a trade with Oklahoma City.
And they were part of one of 2 Doc Rivers 3-1 choke jobs.
Yes. Oh, they had their issues. They were not perfect, but
no,
they were made relevant by Harden's presence there for a long time.
Yes.
So
then I think they killed it by adding Chris Paul.
Yes. The other one that people are going to talk about, the reason for this topic, is Jalen Brunson signing with the Knicks. I think people are putting the cart before the horse a little bit with this one. Let's let them be a playoff team for 4 or 5 years in a row. Let's let them win a playoff series or 2. Let's let this play out a little bit. I'll say this. I think a bigger free agent signing for the Knicks, at least as it stands right now, in my estimation, was actually Amari Stoudemire. Not because of his impact. He was really only healthy for like a year and a half. But because of, like I always talk about, he was one of those signings that made the Knicks appealing to Carmelo Anthony, who orchestrated the trade there. And I don't know that they get that guy without Stoudemire having been there first. And I
Probably true.
And I think that that's important because Carmelo Anthony, I know a lot of Knicks fans love to hate him, but he made them pretty relevant for a pretty long period of time too, in the face of complete organizational ineptitude.
Yes.
I mean, the fact that they even made the playoffs a handful of times with the way that organization was run at the time is a testament to how good Carmelo really was at that point. People forget how good this guy was.
What happened to Stoudemire?
Yeah, his knees just gave out on him. People forget how good Carmelo was. I mean, because of the draft class, it's easy to compare him to LeBron. And in that case, of course, he doesn't compare. But, you compare him to like most other humans. Carmelo Anthony was a bad, bad man. This guy was a monster. An absolute beast.
But his weaknesses were the reason his teams didn't go farther in the playoffs ever.
Right. Yes, he wasn't he had problems as a player.
He made it to one Western Conference final with Denver, and that was basically because they added Chauncey Billups.
Right. And he had he made a semifinals with the Knicks.
Yeah.
At the end of Jason Kidd's career. Rasheed Wallace was on that team. They brought in all the old guys. I think Rasheed Wallace, Marcus Camby, Jason Kidd, and Kurt Thomas were all on that team.
Wow.
Right at the end of their careers. All the geriatrics. They had 4 Udonis Haslams, except they all played. At least Kidd and Wallace did. The other 2 not as much, but yeah, very, very interesting. I don't remember, was Sprewell a free agent signing? Because he made a pretty big impact. He might have been a free agent signing because he was like, down on his luck after beating up Carlissimo, I believe.
Right.
He was good. He was really good. Okay, so it was a trade. No, it was a trade.
No, it was a trade.
Yep. Okay. I couldn't remember how he was acquired. All right, so I'm going to put these in some order now. Number one for me, biggest free agent signing in NBA history is Shaquille O'Neal. The contract was outsized for the time. It would still be a fat contract even today, 25 years later. That's number one. They won a whole bunch of titles. It put him center stage in the NBA's most glamorous market, and it allowed for the creation of one of, if not the greatest 1-2 duo in NBA history with him and Kobe Bryant. So it had a seismic shift on NBA history. You basically can't write NBA history without the Shaquille O'Neal free agent signing with the Lakers, is what it amounts to.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's number one. A close second for me is take your pick, LeBron to Miami or LeBron back to Cleveland for various reasons. I'm going to put one at 2 and one at 3. You can go either way with it. I'm going to put him on. I'm going to put the Miami one at 2 just because of the kind of long tail ramifications to both LeBron and the way he's perceived publicly, as well as to the Boys and Girls Club, which benefited to the tune of about $500,000 raised by that telecast, which no one ever talks about.
Right. But unfortunately, the way it was handled was it was clunky. It hadn't been done before.
It was never done before. I had no problem with it. It really didn't. I enjoyed it. I watched it cover to cover. I did. I really enjoyed it. But so that's going to be number 2 for me. Number 3 will be LeBron signing back with Cleveland.
See, that was actually my number 1.
Yeah, I could see that. Number 4,
Cleveland title meant so much.
Yeah, it did. It absolutely
a promise
did.
he made to the city.
Yep, and he delivered it. It's a great story. There's no question about it. I'm gonna go number 4 with, I think, either Stoudemire or, I think a big deal was, we didn't mention this one. Bill Walton signed with the Celtics as a free agent, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
He is actually on my list.
Yeah, so I'm going to put that at number 4. And number 5, I think I'm going to go, it's either with Stoudemire to the Knicks or, I'll give you another one. Was Clyde Drexler a free agent signing for Houston? Or did they trade for him?
I think he was a free agent signing.
I think he was. Right now, it's James Harden at 5. I'm going to put James Harden at 5 for the time being, and we'll go from there. So yeah, that's there you have it. That's my top 5. Number 1, Shaquille O'Neal. Number 2, LeBron James in Miami. Number 3, LeBron James in Cleveland.
Drexler was a trade.
He was a trade. Okay, so number 4, I'm going to go with Bill Walton in Boston, and number 5, I'm going with our good friend James Harden in Houston. So there you have it. That's today's top 5, and it's time now to go to our next break. When we come back, we'll do our baseball preview. But first, a quick look around the league, around the last weekend's games with the Orange County Smash. This is a game action update. The Smash 10U team, coached by Rick Monda, played 3 games in Pennsylvania this past weekend. They only went 1-2 overall, but their one win was a good one. They really rebounded nicely in game 3 of that 3-game set. The weekend, of course, was highlighted by a brilliant no-hit pitching performance from Mason Cross, and that was in the 3rd game. His brilliant pitching and a resurgent Smash lineup featured a balanced attack headlined by an explosive 12-run 3rd inning. 3 players produced 2 RBIs for the Smash in this game. Oliver Mastroserio had 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored, while also walking twice. Ryan Tompkins tallied 2 RBI, and Brady Grote had the same. Meanwhile, Michael Febby scored 3 runs for the smash. Cross and Tompkins, congratulations to them. They have earned the inaugural Cave Talk Radio Players of the Week. We'll hear from them in full-length interviews tomorrow. Tompkins in 3 games and 6 at-bats tallied 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and a walk, as well as an inning of relief pitching in Game 1. Meanwhile, Cross, of course, had the no-hitter we mentioned in Game 3 and was actually one unearned run away from a perfect game. And those full featured interviews will air tomorrow around the 10:30 mark, so be sure to be listening for those. If you haven't already done so, download the Cave Talk Radio app or follow us on Facebook, Cave Talk Radio NY, to hear those Player of the Week interviews tomorrow at 10:30. And that'll do it for the OC Smash action update. Next up is baseball previews, Dodgers and Astros. That's coming up on the Gary Ayd Show here on the Cave.
Coffee lovers, Middletown is now officially home to the home run of our favorite beverage, Days Coffee. Days patented blend contains approximately 85% less caffeine than other coffees, which makes it better for you, yet unlike decaf coffee, still gives you that great pickup and tastes amazing. Formulated by a retired cancer pathologist, Dr. Grant Lee, Days Coffee is fermented with a patented enzyme that until now required a complex and thus expensive sourcing and production process. With Dr. Lee's formulation, this enzyme's great health benefits can now be brought to your cup quicker, easier, and cheaper than ever before. Here's how you get a hold of this game-changing cup of joe. Go over to radioonlydeals.com and get a $4 gift certificate to Days Coffee for just $2. That's radioonlydeals.com to buy your single-use digital gift certificate for Days Coffee. Radioonlydeals.com. That's radioonlydeals.com. Enjoy the preferred coffee of the Gary Ayd Show. Enjoy Days Coffee.
Are you like me? You have health insurance, but you don't have dental insurance. Do you need to get to the dentist right away? Maybe you need an implant or some other major service. Well, I found a dental insurance plan that's just right for you. It's called Spirit Dental. Spirit Dental offers a $100 lifetime deductible, a huge network of dentists. And here's the best part. There's no waiting periods. Yeah, that means you can call right now and have real dental insurance for you and your family tomorrow and get that immediate coverage you want. Spirit Dental has plans for just a few dollars a day, up to $5,000 annual maximum, and coverage for implants. Whatever age you are, the dental insurance you need is a free phone call away. Now don't wait, and be sure to ask about Spirit's vision plan. Here's the number: 800-631-9229. 800-631-9229. That's 800-631-9229.
Hey friend, life happens and you need money. What do? You call the special toll-free number we're about to give you. We will send you a link to your phone with details on how you can loan up to $5,000. Couldn't you use $5,000 to pay for your rent, pay grocery bills, get your car repaired, or whatever you need? It's up to you. We don't care. We're just here to lend you the money. And we'll lend people money with good, bad, or no credit at all. Of course, some terms and conditions apply, and you'll see those on the link we're going to send you. So if you need up to $5,000 maybe as soon as the next business day, call this number right now. We will text you a free link with details.
Paid for by Money Mutual. Call 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. That's 800-586-7112.
All right, we are back here on the Gary Ayd Show, and it's time now for our baseball previews. We finish it off today with the Astros and the Dodgers. Let's start in the AL, Rich, with the Astros. What do we got?
This is a team that doesn't have a lot of weaknesses. And I was looking for any questions I might have. The only one I'm thinking of is, who's the next Verlander? Guy won another Cy Young award. He's not there. And Astros pitchers have had it pretty good because they haven't had to be the number one guy. Framber Valdez, Christian Javier, Lance McCullers Jr., Jose Urquidy. Which one steps up into that role? They've had their whole careers not having to do it. Valdez and Javier actually really have a good chance. And the Astros need one of them to step up. Now, the free agency front, if someone hits the market in July or at the trade front, the Astros might have to be in on him if none of these guys step up. And the only other thing I'm wondering, how about an upgraded catcher?
Yeah.
They kept Martin Maldonado. He's an excellent defensive catcher. Doesn't hit, but he's great with the pitchers. They acquired Vasquez last year, but didn't keep him. They've got a couple guys in the pipeline, but are either of them really ready to be the backup catcher? And the fact that I've talked this long about a backup catcher means they don't have a lot of weaknesses.
Yes. No, it's a fact. I mean, this team, the thing you love about this team, they have that it factor that great teams all have.
They do.
Like, I've thought for a number of years now that the Dodgers roster was better. I thought at one point in time the Mets roster was better last year. But
we've discussed that and agreed.
Yeah, but man, these guys just have that tenacity in key at-bats, key moments, key games that just produces winning baseball. And they do it up and down the lineup every year. Their bullpen, just everybody is just ready to win when the moment requires winning. And it's just so great. And I just can't see, for that reason, I need to see that out of the Dodgers. I haven't. I know they won the World Series in 2020, which was awesome, but they've had a lot of letdowns in the playoffs. They've had a lot of lost series that they shouldn't have lost. And I haven't seen that from the Astros. The Astros, to me, they've lost playoff series, but, you know, I've never seen them lose a playoff series. I've seen them get beaten in playoff series. There's a distinction. The Astros don't beat themselves. They don't fail to show up. If you beat them, you earned it.
Oh, you have. You truly have. Now, with Altuve being out,
that creates an issue.
That's something I didn't have to look at. Remember, Eldemus Diaz left in free agency to Oakland, of all places. So there goes their best utility infielder.
That's right.
Who probably would have stepped in. David Hensley has all 4 positions down in the minor leagues. He's probably not the answer. Mauricio Dubon came there last year from the Giants. He may have to step in. He plays outfield, shortstop, and second base. In fact, he was the starting center fielder every game Justin Verlander pitched. He might be the choice to have to play that second base spot because he's done it before.
Dylan's talking about Philadelphia here. We mentioned them the other day, but yeah, he's right. They are going to be good. I think they're the best team in that division this year. And Trey Turner is a beast. Why does no one want to keep that guy for long term? That guy's so good.
I don't know, but you didn't see it, obviously, but he jacked yesterday.
I know the grand slam. I mean, I heard about it anyway.
Yeah, he jacked 2 of them, and it was amazing because I was watching a bit of that game on replay.
Yeah.
Yes, I need a life, but I don't know why no one keeps him. He's a hell of a hitter.
Oh, he's so good.
He's just a very, very good player. Funny thing is, the Dodgers can lose someone like that. It doesn't affect them that much.
No, it's true.
And I'd love to know how. But yeah, replacing Altuve for 2 months and backup catcher are the 2 questions on this team. Those aren't 2 questions bad questions to have.
No, they're really not.
Dylan just said his last 2 at bats, 853 feet.
Cumulative
in
between
distance.
2 spots. That's pretty sick.
And at this point in this World Series or World Championship, you're hitting against major league pitchers.
Right.
In fact, very good ones.
Yes.
And what the U.S. is doing is incredible.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I really getting back to the Astros here, kind of putting a bow on this, I really think that they are, again, the team to beat in the American League. I really do. Despite some of these things, who's going to be Verlander? What are they going to do to backfill Altuve till he's back? Maybe some questions about their catching, but those are relatively... The Verlander one has the potential, if no one can truly do it, to be significant. But the others are just, a backup catcher is not a huge concern. Everyone needs a backup catcher. And,
right. And Maldonado's going to hit 200.
Right.
He's going to make every pitcher better. So at that point,
right,
bat him ninth. I don't care.
Yeah, you got a good enough lineup as it is. And then you throw in the questions about Altuve with him being out for probably a month or two. That's, again, momentary. You could figure that out. Let's go over to the Dodgers in the National League. This is the first year in a number of years I've gone into an off season, and when I start thinking about the best teams in the National League, the Dodgers aren't the first or second name that come to my mind. They're probably fourth or fifth that come to my mind. And immediately I think of Philadelphia. I think of Atlanta. Prior to the Diaz injury, I thought of the Mets. I probably have the Dodgers third now. Second or third. Behind Philadelphia for sure. Maybe behind Atlanta. And again, the Dodgers are better than Atlanta on paper. But the way the Braves find ways to win games is the same way the Dodgers find ways to lose games.
True. Very true. But look at this lineup. Look at catcher. Will Smith's a great catcher. Austin Barnes, above average backup catcher. Freeman at first. Miguel Vargas at second, who this year in spring training has just looked the part at the plate. Miguel Rojas at shortstop. Max Muncy at third. Your outfielders, Betts, Taylor, Thompson, Hayward, Peralta, Outman. Yeah. Starting pitchers, Kershaw, Urias, Syndergaard, May, and Pepio. I don't see a lot of weaknesses. They have a nice bullpen.
They just got to execute in big spots. They got to make the winning plays when they need to be made, and they haven't.
That's exactly it. Just what you said earlier is exactly the way I feel. That's a great, great lineup.
Oh,
nothing wrong with it at all.
No. I mean, they got pitching, but get the job done when it needs to get done. That's really the bottom line with this team.
And I wonder if Syndergaard can excel there if he's
I forgot he was there.
If he's a fourth starter.
I forgot he was there. I remember him with Anaheim last year. I forgot he went to the Dodgers.
I mean, there might not be a question if he can be the fourth starter.
I mean, if Syndergaard can't be a fourth starter, then we have a problem.
Right.
But yeah, that's interesting. I forgot he was there. There you have it. Those are our baseball previews. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll take a look at tonight's NBA action. We kind of recap the weekend in hour one. We'll take a look ahead to what's going on tonight in hour two here in a couple of minutes. And then after that, we'll finish out with news you can use. It's the Gary Ayd Show back after this here on The Cave.
Do you own a timeshare? Well, face the facts. You made a mistake. You made a bad purchase. A timeshare is not an investment. It's a money pit that continues forever. If you use your timeshare, that's great. But if you don't, and you want to legally get out of your contract, call my friends right now at the Timeshare Exit Hotline. They're an experienced team of lawyers who help good people like you get out of a timeshare contract that they just don't want. Don't throw away your money on maintenance fees. Use it for things you really want. We can help you end your timeshare contract and stop the money drain immediately. If you're ready to move on with your timeshare, call our team right now.
Cancel your timeshare now with a free call. 800-741-9557. 800-741-9557. 800-741-9557. That's 800-741-9557. 57. If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. Ouch! Well, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers. If you administer insulin 3 or more times per day or use an insulin pump, call now and learn how a CGM can help you.
Painless. No more pricking my finger.
No finger pricks.
Convenience. They delivered it free and they took care of all the paperwork.
You can reduce pain right away. Plus, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you spend more time in range. And if you have insurance, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Call now and get free shipping of your new CGM. Plus, we'll bill your insurance for you. 800-826-5884. 800-826-5884. 800-826-5884. That's 800-826-5884.
All righty, we're back, and we have a total of 6 games in the NBA tonight. A couple of good ones, a couple not so good.
A lot of good ones.
Yeah, so we got, let's just read them off real quick. Chicago, Philly, Indiana, Charlotte, Golden State, Houston, Minnesota, New York, Dallas, Memphis, and Sacramento, Utah. I'll go first, Rich. I'm really looking forward to this Minnesota, New York game. There's obviously the tie with Coach Thibodeau, who's coached both teams, obviously, current coach of the Knicks, former coach of the Timberwolves. And the Knicks are getting this Timberwolves team at a good time. Anthony Edwards out right now, I believe. Of course, Towns is still out. This is a game that I'm watching because I want to see the Knicks put their foot on the throats of a wounded animal here and just, step down and crush them. I want to see the Knicks win this game by 20 or more points.
This is the time to do it if you're going to do it. Edwards is in a walking boot. He's out indefinitely. Friday night, I saw some of this game, and he landed awkwardly, and he was in pain.
Mm-hmm.
You heard him if you saw any of it. They eventually got him off the floor, but this is about the worst time this could happen for a team who's in a playoff spot. He's 8th. They're 8th right now.
Yep.
But
so
they don't have much time for him to heal.
No, they don't. And you want the Knicks to put them out of their misery tonight. You want them to beat them by double digits. This
is the night to do it.
Yep.
I mean, look at the year Edwards is having. 25-6, 4.5 and assists, 46%, 37 from 3. His game was actually rounding into what we knew he can be.
Yes.
They're only a game and a half ahead of the Pelicans, who are in 12th. 12th. That lead can dissipate easily. And it's going to take a superhuman effort for them to do it against a Knicks team who, if they don't have their foot on the pedal the entire game, it's just wrong.
Where are they getting offense from? Look, now that D'Angelo Russell's not there, who's going to lead that offensive attack?
It's a good question.
I'm just going to pull up their roster real quick.
Dylan Brooks can only do so much. He's got to stop being an idiot, because he's going to cost himself a game at a time when they can't afford it either. Right. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's
the Grizzlies.
I was going to say, he's on the Grizzlies.
That's a Grizzlies. I'm looking at something.
I was like, what's he talking about? I was like, when did Dylan Brooks go to Minnesota? I missed that.
I don't even know.
Who's going to lead their offense? I mean, Gobert is not an offensive beast. He'll score some, but that's not the guy.
He needs someone to get him the ball.
Right.
Who creates their own shot on this team?
It's not Kyle Anderson. Mike Conley's old. I mean, maybe he kind of needs to be him right now, I guess, right? Who else is going to be? I mean, we've seen at times spurts where Austin Rivers can be good for a little while. I mean, there's no one. I'm looking at this roster. Naz Reid, Taurean Prince, Nathan Knight. Like this isn't going to happen. Where are they getting points from?
There is nothing. Austin Rivers has to step up in a big way.
Him and Mike Conley, they're the two guys. They're the only two.
Conley has to I don't know, find that Utah Fountain of Youth
That's it. The Minnesota
And-
Fountain of Youth, you mean?
or Minnesota. Yeah, what is wrong with this today? I can't get straight here. That
Rich has gone through the whole Midwest and Southwest here. He's got on the
and I
tour.
still don't know where I am. That story shook me about Edwards. It really did.
Yeah, that's a shame. He was having such a great year. He
was, and
they have no
there's
one to
3
replace
weeks left in the season.
Yeah.
He might not play another game this season.
Yeah. Speaking of another injury, I wanted to kind of give a little nod to. It happened some time ago. It's not breaking news, but there's a very good chance that we've seen the last game played ever by Andre Iguodala with the injury he sustained. There's a possibility he
Yes.
doesn't play next year just because he was probably going to retire anyway. So, anyway, if that is indeed the case, very interesting, long, accomplished career for Andre Iguodala.
He recreated himself from being one of the man spots in Philly, doing everything. He made himself a defensive presence for years as a role player with the Warriors. That career's gone a full 360. And I hate seeing it end like that.
Yeah, I really hope he either plays again this year or comes back next year, even if it's in like a Udonis Haslem role, just so he doesn't end it like that.
I don't think he plays this year.
Yeah, I don't either. But
next year would be nice.
Speaking of Golden State, they're playing Houston today. Nothing really exciting in that game other than Golden State struggles on the road, and Houston, believe it or not, has won games recently. They didn't win their last game, but they've won a couple recently. So I still am not picking them. But Dallas and Memphis. Let's talk about this one. This is probably the best game
I was interested in.
Yep.
Memphis seems to be back except for Adams.
Yep.
I don't know if Dallas has Doncic. He stayed today. Memphis has a nice roster put together, and they've got a lot of interesting pieces, but Dylan Brooks is just bugging me. You want to be the villain, go ahead. It's fun. And it's necessary. But you're shoving camera people and stuff. You got fined for it. The next time you do something that's stupid, it's a game suspension. And your team's trying to get cohesive again before the playoffs. Stop being stupid. It's all you got to do. Be the villain. Be the villain all you want. It's a great story. It's excellent for us. But, man, you can contribute more than shoving a camera guy.
Yeah, and and now that guy looks like he's hurt too, like he's still in the hospital.
Yeah.
So I mean,
so there could be something legal coming.
Well,
out.
that's what I was just gonna say,
and there's plenty of proof.
That's very true. No
it's
question
not
about that.
To me, it's on tape.
It's on tape. It's there. It happened. We know it. It's an open and shut thing.
Film don't lie.
That's a fact.
So just when your team is getting cohesive and Adams should be coming back soon. Now's not the time to be stupid. Now's the time to use your powers for good. This Memphis team intrigues me. They really do. I don't know. I can't make anything out of Dallas yet because I haven't seen the two stars play together enough.
Right. That's the big problem. That's the big problem. And
you can't fix that.
No, that's something that just takes time on the court together. There's no other recipe or solution for that. It's just time on the court together. I think Memphis is going to win tonight. I think John Morant, I believe he's playing tonight. And
he is due back tonight. And the suspension is done.
Yep. And I think he's going to be rearing to go. And I expect him to play angry. Like it's him against the world. Whether that's fair or not, that would exactly be my mentality coming back into a game like this. I would be looking to dunk on everybody and just be a total monster. So I expect him to come out emotionally charged, angry, focused, and ready to basically kill people tonight in the figurative sense. I feel that's probably necessary disclaimer given the
Yes,
circumstances.
yes.
Yeah,
doesn't mean carry a gun to
right,
the
right,
arena.
right. I don't mean that literally. Last two games of interest here to me, Sacramento and Utah. Utah, if Clarkson doesn't play, I don't see them having enough offensive firepower to stick with this Kings team. But if he does play, they're one of the few teams that can score with Sacramento.
Yes. Utah is fun to watch,
They are.
too.
They are.
They're excellent offensively. His marketing has been freed.
Yes.
And that's amazing.
That's a fact.
And yeah, Clarkson is he's one of the new guys carrying that mantle of professional scorer. That I always like to say, I'm blank professional scorer. That's Jordan Clarkson. It's going to be a fun game no matter what. If they're healthy, they're going up and down the floor, and that's a blast.
Oh, they're amazing. They really,
Any
really
other
are.
games intrigue you tonight?
One other one. Chicago, Philadelphia. Chicago, to me, is the best bad team in the NBA. Like, every time they play, they're fully capable on any random night of playing with and or beating anybody. But they're also capable of getting killed by anybody. And they have zero consistency. They're not a good team. They're under 500. But they have just enough good individual players that when things go right for all of them on the same night, they're a tough out. So this game could be close.
Yeah, don't throw money on it.
Oh, I'm not. But I mean, look, they're not buried. They're not 15 or 10 games under 500. They're 4 games under 500. They're basically the Eastern Conference version of the Jazz. The Jazz are about 2 or 3 games under 500.
At least the Jazz play together and are fun.
Well, yeah,
there's nothing appealing about watching Chicago.
Yeah,
period.
yeah.
And I think the Sixers are on a mission. The way they've played lately, and this game doesn't do it for me at all.
Yeah, I like watching the tandem of DeRozan and Levine, particularly against a Philly team who, if you were going to say one weakness about their team, their wings leave something to be desired. And that is the strength of this Bulls team. So I think this game could end up being very close. I really do.
It is, and I could watch two guys who don't make their teammates better all night, but I probably won't.
Yeah, this is a game I'll be following for that reason. And you talk about betting it. I know you said don't do it, but I'm looking at these numbers right here. I'm just gonna pull them up real quick. I have a feeling there'll be some value in this one. Looking at this game, so the Bulls are 8.5 point dogs, and it's an over under 224.
I'll take the over on that.
Yeah, I might take the over, and I might take Chicago to cover. I'm not going to pick them to win, but I think Chicago might cover that game. I could see that spread. I think this game could end up being close. I really, really do.
And Levine and DeRozan can combine for 60.
Yep.
Embiid gets 45 by himself.
Yes, that's probably true.
And because who guards him on Chicago?
Yeah, no one. I mean, Vucevic is the only guy.
Yeah, and he's not going to do it.
So there you go.
NBA question.
Yes.
What happened to Andre Drummond?
He got legislated out of the NBA, basically. The style
He's still there.
No, I know, but he never plays.
Why is that? Here's a guy who, at the very least, can score inside and rebound.
Yep, he's a willing defender. He's a decent passer.
You mean there's nothing for him? There's not a spot for him at all? He plays for the Bulls, who can use him.
Mm-hmm.
He's got like a 7'6" wingspan.
Yeah,
Dude can block shots.
I completely agree.
He packs on what, about 275?
Yeah, guy's an ox.
He's a great personality. He's never been a negative on any team. There's never been an issue with him. Why can't this guy get playing time? It's not an Ennis Cantor situation.
No, it's not.
Because Cantor could score and rebound. Drummond could do more, and he gets no time. If I catch any of this game tonight, I'll be looking to see if Drummond gets on the floor. And I get Vucevic is your center. I get you can't play them together. But he can't get 12 minutes?
I understand. It is confusing. All right.
Makes 0 sense to me.
Let's take our last break. We'll come back and we'll close it out with news you can use. It's the Gary Ayd Show here in the cave.
Are you like me? You have health insurance, but you don't have dental insurance. Do you need to get to the dentist right away? Maybe you need an implant or some other major service. Well, I found a dental insurance plan that's just right for you. It's called Spirit Dental. Spirit Dental offers a $100 lifetime deductible, a huge network of dentists. And here's the best part. There's no waiting periods. Yeah, that means you can call right now and have real dental insurance for you and your family tomorrow and get that immediate coverage you want. Spirit Dental has plans for just a few dollars a day, up to $5,000 annual maximum, and coverage for implants. Whatever age you are, the dental insurance you need is a free phone call away. Now don't wait, and be sure to ask about Spirit's vision plan. Here's the number: 800-631-9229. 800-631-9229. That's 800-631-9229.
Hey friend, life happens and you need money. What do? You call the special toll-free number we're about to give you. We will send you a link to your phone with details on how you can loan up to $5,000. Couldn't you use $5,000 to pay for your rent, pay grocery bills, get your car repaired, or whatever you need? It's up to you. We don't care. We're just here to lend you the money. And we'll lend people money with good, bad, or no credit at all. Of course, some terms and conditions apply, and you'll see those on the link we're going to send you. So if you need up to $5,000 maybe as soon as the next business day, call this number right now. We will text you a free link with details.
Paid for by Money Mutual. Call 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. 800-586-7112. That's 800-586-7112.
All righty. We are back. And it's time for some news you can use. What do we got today, Rich?
There is not one bracket left anywhere.
Not a single one.
Not a single one. You had a 16-1 upset. Fairleigh Dickinson beating Purdue. They took number 9 seed Florida Atlantic to the wire over the weekend. It ended there for them, but think about it. They won 4 games last season. It's a great year. Number 15, Princeton pulls off an upset of Arizona. They beat Missouri yesterday. They're in the Sweet 16. I look at some of the top seeds. Number 1's Purdue, Kansas. 2's Arizona, Marquette. 3, Baylor. You add a 4, Virginia, and a 5, Duke. 7 of the top 16 teams fell this weekend. No one's escaping, except Gonzaga. They made their 8th straight Sweet 16. That program is consistently impressive.
Yeah, they really are. And the question I have with Gonzaga, put on your scouting hat for a second. Where does like 9th year senior Drew Timme eventually play once he runs out of eligibility at Gonzaga?
Oh, jeez. He's a backup in the NBA at best. He's a nice player. He really is. He does a lot of things. He has ball skills. But the 15th person on an NBA bench is usually elite athletically.
And he's not.
He'll contribute somewhere because he's smart.
Yep.
And he's got great size. And he knows how to use it. He'll be a Frank Kaminsky type on the bench in the NBA.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. I can see that. Okay. What else we got today?
Columbus Blue Jackets head coach Brad Larson not with the team due to a death in the family. We wish the family well.
Absolutely.
It looks like the Astros are going to try David Hensley at that spot.
Ooh.
An Altuve spot. I thought they had a better name there, but that came out. That came out this morning. The Dallas Cowboys got a much-needed wide receiver.
They did.
This weekend.
Cooks,
and it's
right?
the perfect person, yes, to replace the guy who replaced Monty Toomer.
Toomer, right. Toomer's gone,
Yeah.
right.
Caught 57 passes, 699, 3 touchdowns, only played 13 games. The concern is injuries, but when healthy, he can play. The deal's worth the trade was for 2 draft picks, a 5th this year and a 6th in 2024. That's an absolute steal.
Oh, it's a great trade for Dallas. The Lakers beat Orlando, and Austin Reeves had a career high 35 points in that win. Happy to see it for him. He's a good kid. He's a good player.
Did you hear the MVP
I
chants?
did.
It was great.
Yeah, that was awesome. One other bit of news here that I wanted to draw attention to. What about the fact that we mentioned Brandon Cooks going to the Cowboys. What about the fact that St. John's looking likely to hire Rick Pitino as their next head coach? Be prepared for St. John's basketball to matter again. Rick Pitino turns every team he plays in, he coaches for, into a contending team to the very best of that program's capabilities and usually beyond.
City basketball needs it.
It does. I'm so happy. I don't care one bit about college basketball usually, but because of the general locale of this, you're right. New York City basketball desperately needs this. Rick Pitino exudes New York personality anyway. This is huge, huge as far as I'm concerned for St. John's to pull this off. And we got time for maybe one more if you got anything else.
Agree. I agree completely, and I hope it happens. The city needs it. No one's been able to do it. Lamar Jackson, we know he's free to negotiate with another team.
Yep.
One team is interested, and it will be totally out of character if they do. Who do you think it is?
Pittsburgh?
New England.
Oh,
Belichick doesn't do huge guaranteed contracts, but he is super interested.
there's a coastal town in Wales that is now, quote, living in terror after being invaded by a new breed of visitor, monster rats. Apparently, these rats are the size of cats. It's been going on for a few months. Parts of the cliffs, this is a cliffside city, I guess, have been eroded. Oh, that is crazy.
I did not see this. That's unbelievable.
Isn't that nuts? Yeah, I'm looking at one. It is the size of a cat. They look like those meerkats, like the Timon animals. My God. Oh, that's horrible. Yikes. You talk about an invasive species. Anyway.
Yeah.
What a way to end the show, huh?
And, oh, man.
What a way to end the show.
That's awful.
It is. Better,
it just is.
Better news. NFL reporter Jay Glazer has announced his engagement to his girlfriend. So congratulations to Jay.
Congratulations to Jay.
And then there was a golfer that may have been caught peeing on live television, LIV. Live golfer taking a piss during the tournament right on TV. He's just watering the grass.
Anything for ratings.
Good times.
Let's leave on that
I
note.
think that's
I
a good
didn't
way
like
to
the
do it.
story about the cat rats.
Yeah, the cat rats and the pissing on the grass during the tournament. Yeah, it's good stuff. All right, well, there you go. And there you have it. That will do it for us. We'll see you again tomorrow. This is the Gary Ayd Show here on The Cave.